Does run through pretty hard. Lots of tracks. This is how they're getting through here.
Up camp, a phrase commonly heard if you're from Western Pennsylvania. It refers to a physical place, but also a state of mind. It's the deer camp, the fishing hole, a cabin, or a getaway you always go up to, despite its geographical location. I spent most of my adult life inside comedy clubs, but some of my best memories were made outside, hunting and fishing the surrounding properties of my grandparents' single-wide paradise. So sit back and maybe have a few laughs at my successes and failures as I look to reconnect with a simpler time. I'm Collin Chamberlin, and I'm headed up camp.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Up Camp. We are in State Forest in the eastern part of Maryland right now. We're in the middle of the rut for archery season. The rut is just the time where the deer are most active because they're trying to breed. It is about 40 degrees right now, but with the wind, it's supposed to get down to like 25 or something. Should be a very cool morning. Hopefully that means deer are on their feet. I got a little grunt tube I'm going to hit a little bit, and we're going to be off. So thanks for watching this episode of Up Camp. Way colder than I thought it was going to be this morning with the wind. But I'm hoping that keeps the deer on their feet. When you have these shifts in weather, a cold front come in, it's usually a pretty good sign for deer activity. And what I'm really hoping is because we're in the rut, we're in the prime time of breeding, that they're moving throughout the day. I have so many treats, though, today for myself. But I got a giant hazelnut coffee, which is basically a milkshake. Apple fritters, beef sticks, chips, and my whole life is based off of just finding snacks and finding treats. I just go from one treat to the next treat. I'm trying to kill the time in between. This thing that I just had in my mouth is a grunt tube. It simulates the grunting of a buck. One, it could challenge another buck. It could let deer know that you're in the area. It could just be like a tending call. But on this grunt tube you have the ability to also emulate a doe bleat, which is sort of a noise a doe's going to make throughout the day, and a fawn bleat, or a yelp, distressed fawn, which emulates a much younger deer. Now, that fawn yelp is good for attracting doe, which then also attracts some buck. But I have a tag for both doe and buck. This is just a good way to kind of keep yourself, I feel like, if nothing else, checked into the hunt. So you're not playing on your phone or dozing off. I knew a guy that used to carry a thermos full of soup, and he would bring a bowl and a spoon. And at lunchtime, instead of going back in, he would pour his thermos of soup out into a bowl and sit there and eat a bowl of soup in the middle of the woods. Maybe I'll bring a little TV table and a microwave dinner. And a microwave. Very cold. Way colder than I thought it was going to be. To try to boost my morale, I'm going to eat this Wawa apple fritter. It's designed for if you're stranded in the woods for weeks, because I just looked at the serving size and the calories, and I think, it's supposed to be like emergency food that you only eat if you need thousands of calories to survive the winter. This is the loudest packaging. It would probably be quieter if they packaged it with fireworks. This might be the highlight of the whole day right here. When I was younger, my grandfather and I used to sit sometimes in this aluminum siding deer blind, and there was no insulation in there. It just kept you out of the wind basically. But I'd be so cold, and I would just shiver for hours. And sometimes I would lean up against the wall and shake the whole little shed we were in. He would get so mad at me. He'd be like, "Can't you settle down?" I'm like, "I'm not running around. I'm not shooting basketballs. I'm freezing." Nobody is less happy to see you than the person working at the convenience store, restaurant, gas station, coffee shop right when it first opens and you walk in, or right as it's about to close when you walk in. Like, I walked into that gas station this morning to get a cup of coffee, and they were just starting to, like, make the breakfast sandwiches and stuff. And they were so nervous that I was going to order something. And I didn't. I just got coffee and a donut and some, like, beef jerky. They were like, "Don't do it, fat boy. Don't order a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on a pretzel bun. It's 5:10 a.m. We just woke up ourselves in the parking lot." So, and then, of course, the closing time. If you're going into a place, if you go into like a restaurant or something and they close at like 8 and you're going in at 7:30, you just better be ready. You better be ready to eat some hair and some spit, whatever's on the floor that day. I don't do it. I won't eat in a restaurant if it's about to close. I'm too nervous that they're all judging me and they're all timing me. I don't like to be timed. I don't like to be watched when I eat. And I don't like to be judged when I eat. I judge myself enough. Okay, we're gonna take a little hike, I think. We've been sitting here for a couple hours now and haven't seen anything. So I think I'm gonna move down the trail a little bit and use my grunt call to cover my steps. As I'm stepping, I can just hit that, you know, pretty dead. And also, I'm very cold, so I need to get my blood flowing a little bit, or I'm gonna end up in my car in about 20 minutes. So, take a little walk. Quick update for you. Had to back out for a little bit. Not only did I back out, I backed into a parking spot at Walmart where I bought some gloves and got some lunch. Temperatures dropped pretty quickly when those winds picked up. We had wind gusts here up to 40 miles an hour. So it was just kind of a nightmare to be sitting in the woods. So we're looking at about roughly 3 hours of hunting left. I must have seen a dozen deer on my way in here, all out in the edges of fields. So I actually set up just inside an edge of this state park or state game land in Maryland, where hopefully deer will be coming and going to eat this evening. I see a lot of game trails. I see a lot of places that looks like deer might be crossing. I'm really hoping that this sort of golden hour of hunting is prime for me. And if not, that's okay. Lunch was delicious. I had boneless wings, which, let me just say, a boneless wing is a chicken nugget. Let's drop the whole wing thing. You still got me. I'm still going to eat them. Just call them chicken nuggets, though. I think they called them boneless wings because adults felt bad about ordering chicken nuggets. They're chicken nuggets. Just beyond those trees is sort of an open field where I think they'd have enough edge cover to go out and graze. So far, nothing. This is starting to feel like a day where the only deer I'm going to see are going to be the ones eating out of people's backyards on my way out of here. We have about an hour left in legal shooting hours here. It's just after 4:20, and we have until about 20 after 5 to shoot a deer. I don't think there's anybody around me. I haven't heard anybody come in where I was. So I think I'm going to walk maybe up to this edge, see if there's any deer out in this field. It's private land, but if they're there, maybe I can set up just off of it and see if they'll work their way back towards this way. If you can see, this looks like a game trail that's pretty heavily used. This almost looks like a bedding area. Right in here. Yeah, there's some deer tracks there. I don't recommend doing this on the first day of the season. This is a good way to get yourself public enemy number one with any other hunter that's in the woods. Something was scraping that up, and there's some deer poop right there. Scrape deer poop, it looks like. This is run through pretty hard. Lots of tracks. This is how they're getting through here. Right there is all private land. Well, gang, I'm going to make my way out of the woods here. Sort of a curveball of a day with the weather and the wind. But fun to hunt a new state for deer. I've never deer hunted in Maryland before. It seems like there's a very healthy deer population in the surrounding areas of this state forest. It's all a lot of sign at the end there, slipping through the woods. I love cutting through the woods and following tracks, and a lot of deer that I've stumbled upon have been that way. But it's very tough to do when you're on public land, because really you don't want to blow up somebody else's hunt. People wait all year to maybe hunt a day or two, and it's I'm not gonna be bopping through the woods and blow someone's spot up because that's the way I like to hunt. But this instance, I knew that there wasn't really anybody around me. I think definitely would have heard somebody come in. There's only one way in from where I was sitting, so I knew I was safe to sort of explore a little bit. Thank you for watching this episode of Up Camp. Stay warm, keep your hands warm, pack some gloves, wear your boots, do all the things you don't think you need to do because you probably will need them. If you like this show and you like this channel, please hit like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow along on Instagram. And I hope to see you out there sometime on the road or wherever you're at. I'm going to come and find you. And if you don't like this show, send it to your worst enemy and tell them they'll love it.